The International Space Station has grown over the years as astronauts have spent more time conducting research there. Their experiments resulted in numerous findings that helped humanity better grasp the future of microgravity. In this video, we'll see the top 7 space experiments. Number 7. Moon trees, sending seeds to space. On January 31, 1971, during the Apollo 14 mission, scientists from the U.S. Forest Service launched approximately 500 seeds into space to see if the seeds that experienced microgravity would grow differently than the seeds that never left the globe. The seeds were planted and cared for in the same manner as their counterparts on Earth, and the majority of them grew into saplings. Despite popular belief, plants that have encountered microgravity are no different from plants that have never experienced microgravity. When the moon trees were large enough to be transplanted, they were shipped all throughout the United States. According to NASA, there are currently less than 100 moon trees that must be accounted for. Number 6. Russian tortoises trip to the moon. Long before man was taken to the moon, the Soviet Union sent Russian tortoises there in 1968 to learn about the prospective physical impacts of the moon on the human body. The tortoises were chosen because they were simple to mount. They also brought wine flies, mealworms, seeds, plants, algae, and bacteria in addition to tortoises. Because none of these animals were fully human-like, the scientists also sent a dummy outfitted with radiation sensors. On September 2nd, 1968, the 2 tortoises were sent aboard the Zond 5 spacecraft, where they were no longer fed. The unidentified tortoise cosmonauts were sent to the moon on September 15th and returned on September 21st. However, they discovered that any alterations in the tortoises were most likely due to malnutrition, with only minor changes attributable to spaceflight-related atrophy. Number 5. Old spacesuit released into space. On February 6, 2006, astronauts aboard the International Space Station floated an ancient Russian Orlan spacesuit filled with old garments and a radio transmitter. The spacesuit was dubbed Ivan Ivanovich or Mr. Smith, but its actual designation was Suit Sat 1 or AMSAT Oscar 54. Their intention was to use old spacesuits as satellites, but their success was short-lived, according to NASA, because the transmitter died shortly after the spacesuit was released. The Russians, on the other hand, believed that the final communication was recorded a fortnight later. On September 7, 2006, it reached the Earth's atmosphere and burned up. Number 4. Apollo 15 Hammer and Feather Drop. Commander David Scott of Apollo 15 put Galileo Galilei's idea of a hammer and a feather hitting the ground at the same moment to the test. He raised a geological hammer and a falcon feather about 1.6 meters above the ground and dropped them. Because space is a vacuum and there is no air resistance, the 2 objects with different masses fell in unison to the ground. This demonstrates that mass has no effect on gravitational acceleration. Number 3. How fire behaves in microgravity. Learning how fire behaves in microgravity can assist future long-term missions planned for fire safety in space, as well as educate fire safety standards on Earth. There are various ongoing studies on how fire behaves in space, including the ISS's burning and suppression of solids experiments, Sapphire experiments, and NASA's flame design investigation. Number 2. Myotones. Some wonderful science has emerged throughout the years as a result of scientists testing things on themselves. You have to know what you're doing or be mature enough to take the risk, so don't try dangerous things at home. When Durst and his team undertake the myotones experiment, they will know exactly what they are doing. It will be the first experiment to use a non-invasive, portable device to assess basic biomechanical features of human skeletal muscles. They aim to learn more about how zero gravity affects the muscle system. Number 1. Cold Atoms Lab. This one is a little more complicated, but it's another first for ISS science, and it's impossible to replicate on Earth. So here we go. It's all about comprehending the tiniest aspects of our universe. Yeah, we're talking about quantum physics. Scientists will first create clouds of rubidium and potassium atoms. Second, they will utilize laser light to slow the atom's mobility. The atoms are subsequently caught in an atom chip or magnetic field trap, and the slowest and coldest atoms remain there. When their temperature approaches absolute zero, they act like a massive atom known as a Bose-Einstein condensate. And it is this that scientists will want to look at macroscopically in order to understand these atoms at a quantum physics or quantum mechanics level. The rules of the game that define how atoms and single particles of light behave have been described as quantum mechanics. And with that being said, it's time to end our video. Which of these amazing experiments did you find interesting? Let us know in the comments, like this video, and make sure to subscribe to the channel for more amazing videos like this. We'll see you in the next video.